Hey, what is up guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video we're going to be doing a showcase of Buzz Lightyear, so let's get straight into the video. So Buzz Lightyear, I have him at rank 8, he's Astral 1 and he is one of my favourite guardians in the game. He is very underrated, so in today's video I'm going to convince the audience, everybody watching, why you should definitely take this guy up. So we're going to go over the core ability first. So Buzz's basic attacks remove 5% armor from enemy targets. So Buzz's heavy attacks removes 20% armor and has a 60% chance to inflict a shock, dealing 5% damage per second for 5 seconds. So this adds up to 25% shock damage. As well, you're removing 25% armor. You're removing 5% armor from your basic attacks and then 20% every time you use a heavy. So you just continuously get rid of that armor and also applying shocks to your opponents. So after a dash, Buzz gains a 50% focus buff for 2 seconds. So this is great as well, so you're dashing back and you're instantly gaining more focus and you're removing tons of armor. Now moving on to the special ability, Buzz deals 200% damage to all enemies in a straight line and removes 100% armor from each target, so 100% armor all gone. Enemies hit by Buzz's special ability are inflicted with a shock, dealing 60% damage per second for 5 seconds. So that's just so much damage, and this is a guaranteed shock unless the opponent is shock immune. If an enemy is inflicted with a shock, then hit by special ability, they are stunned for 2 seconds. So if you're using your heavy attack before you use your special, you have a 60% chance to apply a shock. And then if you get that shock and use your special ability, they are stunned for 2 seconds. So that's really cool ability. And then the signature ability, when you unlock Buzz as a 4-star or higher, when Buzz uses his special ability, he gains 8% armor, and this increases as you increase the signature level. So he's gaining armor as well, which is really great. So let's move over to his bio. We'll start with his traits. He's a medium guardian, high tech, gravity defying, leader, lawful and Pixar. So a few good traits there. Now moving over to his talents, we're going to start with the first advanced one. When Buzz's attack removes all of an enemy's target's armor, he receives a 7% focus buff that lasts until the end of the encounter. And as you increase this, the percentage increases of the focus buff. So the next one, critical hits gives Buzz a 21% defense buff that lasts until the end of the encounter. So if you're dashing back, you're going to gain focus, and at the same time you're going to get critical damage. Critical hits, it gives 21% defense buff, which is just great. This stacks up as well, this defense buff, so you're just taking less damage. And then the last advanced one, if an enemy target has no armor, critical hits from Buzz's basic attacks inflict a shock, dealing 36% damage per second for 3 seconds. And this can stack up twice, and obviously the higher you get this talent, the higher it will be. And then moving on to the elite talent, when Buzz activates his core ability, he removes an additional 3% armor. The shock from Buzz's special ability deals an additional 43% damage, so it's just so much more damage, and you're also removing so much more armor. So overall, Buzz is very good. On paper, he's very good, and when you actually play him, he's amazing. He has so much shock damage, and he's also getting rid of that armor as well. So yeah, he's definitely a good guardian to have on your team, and we're going to go straight into the gameplay now. So as you can see, we are running a team with Scrooge, McDuck and Hero, and when we go straight into the fight, you can just see the shock starting to apply to all of these enemies. Now what you want to do is you want to control Buzz. Obviously you just want to spam your heavy attacks and also your basic attacks just to gain their defense. You can see in the top left hand corner we're starting to get those defenses. We're currently at 5 and we're just getting those critical hits in. We're applying those special abilities. You can see the line where the special ability just applies, and we're just dealing so much shock damage to our opponents. So you can see 92 damage when we're hitting this enemy here. And basically the aim of the game is just to spam your attacks, get all that shock onto your opponents and just blast them down. You can see we're currently taking away some of that armor. It's kind of hard to tell because there's just so much going on in the fight, but we are actually removing armor from our opponents. As you may know, we have 5% every time we use our basic attack, and then when we use a heavy attack, that removes 20% armor. So it's just about using your heavy attacks as much as possible, and then your basic attacks, it's also doing that work as well, but just on a smaller scale. So yeah, every time we dash back, we're gaining that focus buff. So you can just see all those red numbers starting to build up. That's just all that shock damage, and we're just killing all of our opponents. So moving on, we got another fight here where we're using Buzz, and we just want to take advantage of that removal of the armor, because that is just such an important ability that comes with Buzz, and it's really his main attribute. So you can see we're gaining that defense at the start of the encounter, and at the same time every time we dash back you can just see that focus buff applying for 2 seconds. It's 50%, and that's just a great addition to have. Now using someone like Scrooge McDuck with Buzz Lightyear is so great, because naturally, you know, Scrooge is getting his 10 coins, and when he gets his 10 coins it converts over to focus buffs, and you can get 21 focus buffs in total, and the critical damage that Buzz is actually doing to his enemies is just so good, as well as the critical damage. They're getting so much shock damage as well, so you can just see that a 4k heavy just there. You can also see that Buzz is also gaining armor. We've just lost it, but you can see he uses his special ability and he instantly gains a ton of armor. That's amazing as well. That's his signature ability. When you get him as a 4-star above, he gains armor every time he uses his special ability. Just an additional way to gain armor. You can either bring someone like Violet with Buzz. Violet works so well, so that's a great combo. So Violet, Buzz, and also Scrooge McDuck, you got those critical damage just building up, and then you got that protection with Violet. Every time she goes into the next room, she instantly gains that force field, and as well, obviously Buzz Lightyear, he's nearly at full armor right now every time he uses his special attack. So yeah, as you can see, we're just dealing so much damage and the opponent is dead. So overall, I think Buzz is one of the most underrated Guardians in Disney Mirrorverse. A lot of people just overlook him and they read his abilities and they don't really get to play in him. But overall, I think he's one of the best. He's one of the most fun as well. He's just a great Guardian to look at. He's just awesome. His design is great. And yeah, overall, I love him so much. He's one of my favorite Guardians. So that is it for today's video. If you did like it, please leave a like and subscribe for more. And also follow my Twitter. The link is in the description down below. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.